And welcome to today's Game Plan College webinar. Today we're going to be talking about deciding the right college for you. Just a reminder, we are recording this, so if you could leave your microphone and camera off. If you have any questions, if you just want to hover over the bottom and click the chat icon, you can put your question there and then we'll answer it at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Oh, by the way, my name is Rachel Worsham. I'm a post-secondary access advisor with Game Plan College, and I'm here with my colleagues, Christina and Jackie. All right. All right, can everybody see that? Yes? Okay, awesome. So, like I said, today we're going to talk about choosing the right college for you. So just as a quick overview, we're going to talk about match, fit, financial aid, and then making a decision what you need to do. So I first want to start off with best match. So best match has to do with academics, so those numbers that you sent on your college application. So when you are looking at the colleges that you think you might want to attend, you need to compare your SAT, ACT scores with their SAT, ACT scores, and we have that information from 2016 here for you, but you can also find more updated information online. So why does this matter? We ask you to compare your SAT scores and your GPA with the middle 50% of the prior year's admitted class. So we want you to look at the score range for the middle 50% of people admitted. So keep in mind there are people that are, 25% of people are above that and 25% of people are below that range. But the reason that we want you to look here is because we want to make sure that you're going to a school that's a good academic match. So I have a nice illustration here. If you've ever read Goldilocks and the Three Bears, you'll know that when she was trying the porridges, that one was too hot, one was too cold, and one was just right. So if we're thinking about colleges, you don't want to go to the college that is going to be too academically demanding for you. You want to set yourself up for success. Of course, you want to challenge yourself, but you don't want to have to struggle for all 4 years. Similarly, and probably more importantly, you don't want to go to a school that is too not easy, that is not what you need academically. So if your test scores and GPA are well over what the average or the middle 50% range is, that college might not be a good academic fit for you. So when you go to college, you want to go to a place where you need to attend class and you need to engage with your peers to understand the material. So you want to go to a school where you're going to get that. So I think this would probably be more likely than trying to decide between a school that is maybe too challenging because you should have already received your admissions offer. So when you're looking at your schools, you want to go to one where you kind of fit in academically with their prior year's admitted class. So the next one, which I think is more fun to talk about, is fit. So when you're attending a college, you want to make sure that you're going to be happy there. So a bunch of studies on retention show that students who go to a college that isn't maybe the best personal fit tend to not retain, so they don't tend to get their bachelor's degrees. So when you're thinking about fit, ask yourselves these questions. Does it have your major? Do you like the location? So if you really hate being cold and it makes you miserable, maybe you don't want to go to App State. Do you want to go to a small school or a large school? So think about your high school. Is it large? Do you thrive in situations like that? Or do you go to a small private school and you really like that environment? This is maybe a chance for you to go look at the student to faculty ratios at these schools. What is campus life like? So if you want to go to a school with big athletic program, maybe a football team, you might want to look at schools like NC State, UNC Chapel Hill, App State. If you want a school with a thriving arts community, you might want to look at UNCG. So this is kind of the fun research you can do. Go look on their websites. Maybe if you know someone that went there, ask them about that. What are the housing, dining, and special program options? So if you know that you want to live on campus all 4 years, you want to make sure that you can go to a college where on-campus housing is guaranteed all 4 years. If you have maybe a really particular diet, maybe you have a food sensitivity, you want to make sure that the dining services are equipped to handle whatever requests you have. Are you interested in maybe doing a concurrent master's degree or a concurrent, doctoral degree with your program? So an example of this would be some schools have a pharmacy PhD that kind of aligns into their undergraduate programming. So if you want that, you want to go to a school that offers that. And then finally, does the financial aid that they're offering you fit your life? So does your family have money for you to pay out of pocket? If not, you might want to go to a school that is offering you enough financial aid to where you don't have to maybe start making really hard decisions in the middle of the semester. You want to make sure that there's a roof over your head and that you can eat the entire semester. So ways to determine if a school is a good fit, you can just do research for majors online. So if you're interested in being an athletic trainer, you can go to colleges' websites and look at their majors. If they don't have athletic training, maybe they have something similar to it, but if that's the major you want to look at schools that have said major. Take a virtual tour. So now that we're all kind of homebound, a lot of colleges are offering virtual tours. So you can go to their website or maybe their YouTube page and see what they have to offer. You can attend one of our virtual information sessions. So over the next 2 months, we're hosting information sessions with college admissions reps Tuesday through Friday at 10 and 2 p.m. So if you want to take a look and see if we are offering one with a college that you're interested in, go ahead and check out that link, bit.ly/GPC virtual. You can also reach out to a current student. So if you know someone that goes to the college that you're interested in, reach out to them and talk to them. They are likely to give you, a real picture of what it looks like to be a student there that you might not get from admissions reps who want you to come to that college. You can also use this website, collegeresults.org, and I'm going to take it to you right now. Can everybody see this? Okay, awesome. So Miss Christina just showed me this website today, and it's really cool. So you can compare colleges on a bunch of different metrics. So if you go to this page, you come down to the bottom, you can click Compare Colleges Now. You can find colleges through this way, but you can also look at university systems. So all of the public colleges in North Carolina are a part of the University of North Carolina system. So if you click on this, it will show all of the colleges, all of the public colleges in North Carolina. So let's say I'm deciding between North Carolina State and UNC Chapel Hill. So you can click Add Colleges, and then come over here and click Compare Selected Colleges. So this gives you a lot of data points for, it says the 2017 school year. So of importance, you should maybe be looking at the 6-year graduation rates. So this tells you what percentage of students graduated from this college in 6 years after entering. So what's really cool is that they break it out by different demographics. So you can look at, retention rates for underrepresented students, Pell students. You can come to grad rates by race, gender, or income. So we see at UNC, let's see, 90% of students graduate in 6 years. 87% of underrepresented students graduate in 6 years. So take a look through this. You can also look at maybe college characteristics. So it tells you if it's a small city, a large city, what type of research they do, student characteristics. Let's see. So we see that 16 and 11% of students are underrepresented. I think this is probably racially, but you'll have to look. Yeah, so it gives you a definition. So that's just something you can look at if you're curious about the college's demographics and how well they do graduating students who may have not had the opportunity to graduate because of various reasons. So I'm now going to turn it over to Ms. Christina, who's going to talk a little bit about financial fit.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christina Villegas, and I am also a post-secondary access advisor here with the Emily K Center. I'm about to share my screen. And can you all see that? I think so, right? Yes, okay, great. So financial fit. So a lot of students do think of fit, these other things like how big, how small, the characteristics Ms. Rachel mentioned. But very importantly is financial fit, and she did mention that as well. But that's something a lot of students don't necessarily think about when choosing a college. And so in order to get financial aid, so to talk about financial fit, I'm going to have to explain a little bit of financial aid. I'm going to go at a decent sized pace, but if you need a breakdown later on, you can refer to this recording, which will be on our YouTube channel. And you could also see last week we did a presentation just on financial aid, and you can see that recording as well on our YouTube channel. So the free application for federal student aid is an application for you to receive financial aid from the federal government, pretty self-explanatory with the name, and it opens every year on October 1st. Every student at whatever level, so whether it be if you're going to 2-year college to 4-year college, you're going to your master's degree, every student needs to fill out the FAFSA, or even PhDs. Fill out the FAFSA because that makes you eligible for government aid. And it uses parents' income at the undergraduate level, so at the high school level, it uses parents' income to determine your financial need because high school students are dependent on their parents. And it uses their tax returns or 1040s and W-2s, and it determines what you get from FAFSA. It determines your expected family contribution, the EFC. And so that'll take your parents' income and determine how many people live in your household and how much the federal government thinks your family can contribute to your education. So it can be as low as $0, and then I don't know that it has a limit, but it can be as high as X number, and on how much the federal government thinks your family can contribute. And so your estimated family contribution does not equal what you're actually paying. So that's something to keep in mind. Just because it is expected, so if it is 0, your expected family contribution, that doesn't mean you're paying $0 for college. So what colleges do is they take that EFC, or let me backtrack a little bit, is there's different types of federal aid that you could get. So grants is free money, and it's up to about $6,200 for this year that you could get. Loans, you are also, by filling out the FAFSA, you become eligible for federal loans. And so typically for an undergraduate student that has a limit of $5,500, if you need more than that, you could talk to your direct financial aid office, but that's typically the limit. Those are in rare cases you might be able to extend that. And then you could also or the reason to get loans from the federal government is because they're better than loans from like a bank or a private institution. So that's why you should definitely fill out the FAFSA no matter how rich you are to make you eligible for those federal loans. And work study. So if you qualify based on the metrics, you might be offered work study as well. What that is like an on-campus job, and the money goes directly to the student. And you're not necessarily, a misconception is that you're guaranteed an on-campus job. You have to, if you're offered it, you then have to go through the process to get it. So you do interview for jobs and go through a hiring process and get that. But if you get offered work study, that means you could go for positions like that on your campus. And lastly, this would be another type of loan Parent Plus loans. So if you fill out the FAFSA, that can, you know, you do have to fill out the FAFSA to be able to get Parent Plus loans, and those would be loans under your parent's name for your college education. A lot of people, I would say these Parent Plus loans, the average or the interest rate is about 77%. So look into that and compare. And if you have any questions, you can do that. But a misconception is that anybody is eligible, and that's not true. You also have to qualify with credit. Your parents must qualify with credit for those loans. Now, I'm going to break down how the colleges use your EFC. So your EFC is it determines your financial need, and colleges then create your package. So every student has different sizes of households, different you know, income levels, et cetera, from their parents. So every you know, your EFC is going to be different from student to student, even from sibling to sibling, maybe, because it you know, you just never know. So, well, actually, it shouldn't be different from sibling to sibling, but your EFC could change. Say you have a 12th grader or a first-year college student, and then when you add another sibling that also goes to college, that actually reduces your EFC. It gives you more aid. So, so they use this to determine your financial package. So, for example, if the school costs $25,000 and your EFC is $5,000, your need is $20,000. So they do total cost of attendance minus your expected contribution, and that determines your financial need. So $20,000 is your financial need. Not all colleges meet full need, but many do. So here in North Carolina, we have a couple of colleges that meet full need. That would be UNC, NC State, Duke, Davidson, and Elon. They do, some require an additional application, so a CSS profile. All of these, but I believe NC State does not require it, but the other four do require it, that CSS profile. And the CSS profile is like a FAFSA, but just a little bit more intricate, just more detailed for them to know exactly what your finances look like to be able to meet that full need. They may, but even though a school says that they meet full need, they may meet that need through loans as well. So you have to, you should definitely apply, but you have to be careful, because just because they meet full need doesn't mean it's free. You may have loans in your financial aid package. And so unless you are, and just to be completely transparent, to keep it real with you, and that's what we're here for, based on my experience on doing this, if you are not applying to one of those 5 schools, you should expect at least $5,500 of loans in your financial aid package, because you know, it's just going to be part of, you know, how they package in their financial aid and ability. So that's the gist of it. I'm now going to take you through 2 award letter comparisons, or you know, when you decide on a college, you take match and fit into account, but you also take that financial fit into account. So for the financial fit, I'm going to compare 2 award letters. This looks a little crazy, so let me just bear with it. So this is, bear with me, this is UNC Greensboro right here. You don't have to look at anything but what I have circled. So if you look at it at first glance, UNC Greensboro, their cost of attendance is at the bottom right here, is, or sorry, their total cost of attendance, $18,800. If you look at what's offered in financial aid, they're giving the student $16,000 and some. So they're off maybe about $2,400, right? That's their gap. What they're missing. If you look at UNC or Fayetteville State, this side, the total cost is $16,000, and this student is being offered $11,000 total financial aid. So at first glance, and that's what the purpose of this slide is, it looks like that gap is $5,000 around that, and this gap is about $2,000. So you might think, okay, Fayetteville State is the way to go. And these financial aid award letters are not always the easiest to read. So if you need assistance reading yours, we can help you do that, but it is you must, as a student, be very careful and read everything very intricately. So I'm now going to take you through Fayetteville State's. So here's the total cost again, $11,000, or total aid. And I put it in green because if you go by line, it's a Pell Grant. That's free money. Federal student grants, free money. UNC need-based grant, free money. A Bronco scholarship, free money. Need-based grant, free money. On-campus housing, free money. All of this, if you can see, is accepted. All of this was free money. $11,185 of free money. Total cost was $16,000 again for Fayetteville State. This was from 2016 to 17, something to keep in mind. So first we take our direct fixed cost. So what is my tuition and bills? Tuition and fees, what's going to be billed to me, tuition and fees, and room and board. So I add those up. 13,525 is my bill amount, which is different than the 16,000 that they put. And that's because I'm only taking what's going to be billed to me. These other things such as supplies, transportation, miscellaneous fees, personal expenses, they are expenses you will have as a first year student. You'll need books, well, actually not for Fayetteville State, they give you book rental here, but you'll need miscellaneous fees, so personal expenses. You'll need to buy, shampoo and personal hygiene products. You might want to go out and eat out one day, so that's personal expenses. Or say you're here from Durham and going to Fayetteville State. I don't know approximately how far that is, but maybe like over an hour and a half to 2 hours away. So then, that's gas money. That's what's included in transportation. So this won't be charged to you, but these are costs on average that students spend on these things. So those are costs that colleges want you to take into account. So you see my bill amount is lower than what they cost of attendance. My direct costs are lower. And so now I look, do I have a gap? So now I'm comparing these numbers. What's my bill and what's my free money? And so that's financial aid minus bill. And if I do that, I get a negative number, negative $2,300 approximately, and that's what's due. If I divide that by 2, then that's what's charged per semester, because colleges function and charge on a per semester basis. And you can, you can break down to go even further and see how much you would be charged per semester. So typically, if you're charged per semester, that's due at the beginning of the semester before classes start. That would be like in August or early August, and then late December for the January start for the second semester. And so since that's a negative number, I'm negative $2,340. That's my gap. That's how much money I'm missing to be able to cover my direct costs for the school. Take this note, this bill amount does not include health insurance. And so health insurance, if you don't have your own, colleges will require you to have one. They have various prices, and each colleges charge about maybe like a $1,300 per semester for health insurance. So that can be quite a lot. And actually, I don't want to tell you anything. That might be for the year. I'll look into that before we go. And now UNC Greensboro. Well, let me backtrack. So total cost, what my gap is, $2,340. Now UNC Greensboro. Total cost is $18,800. Total financial aid is $16,000. Now I gotta do my direct cost, tuition, fees, room and board. So that's $15,600 direct costs. Now I look at my gap, financial aid minus bill. 16,000 minus 15,000, my bill is 827, and that's actually a positive number. So if all of my financial aid, what that means, all of my financial aid is paying for my bill, my direct bill. However, I'm like, but wait, what is my cost? Because if you take a look line by line, these are loans that they are offering. Your federal direct subsidized loan, $3,500, and federal direct unsubsidized loan is $5,500. So these are offered. You can decide as a student if you need them or not, but they are part of your package for your bill to be paid. So those are the $5,500 in loans that we can expect that I mentioned earlier. So adding those two up, that's my net cost. So net cost is your bill, what's billed, and your loans. So your total price, the total price that you're paying for that college is $5,500. So although this is a powder and that's a refund, a very good refund you can use for books, for example, because books are not included here. See, books and supplies is about $950. That refund you can use to buy books, etc. That refund will also be split in half per semester because that's the total. So remember, everything is per semester on a per semester basis. That's the net cost, and health insurance, again, is not included. So if I compare, what you should compare in these award letters are that net cost or that net price. So I put them back here. My net price for Fayetteville State was $2,340, my gap. For UNC Greensboro, I didn't have a gap technically. I got money back. However, I'm getting in debt $5,500. So if you compare them side by side like this, and if you are really trying to go for the cheapest price, save the most money, you might need to go to Fayetteville State. But then you might ask, how can I cover those $2,340? That's part of our different presentation, but quick answers, you can take out loans. Loans weren't offered, or scholarships. So if you don't want any loans, you can take out scholarships to cover those gaps. And then finally, you make a decision. So remember, you compare your award letters like we showed you. Not only that, so it's not all about finances. You also have to think about match and fit. So the two examples that we had, Fayetteville State and UNC Greensboro, they're both very different in many ways. So you have to see what is better fit for you as a student. And so you could use that website and do your research and think about those things like the size, the location, all of that. And I want to add something for COVID-19. So during this time, you can compare college responses to how they support their students. So typically, if you go to the main college website, they have it at the very top, like, so-and-so's college response to COVID-19 at the very top, and you can click that. I would recommend just reading that information and how they share it to students, how they publicize it, how accessible it is. Because if you are a student, you're a customer too. At the end of the day, if you're there or and another pandemic happens or something happens, you want to make sure, you want to see how these colleges responded to these situations and see if you would feel safe as a student there, if you would feel supported as a student there with their responses to COVID-19. And so that's something to consider. And you pay your deposit by May 1st. So when you make a decision, how you tell colleges that you have decided is by paying the seat deposit. That's how you reserve your spot. The deadline nationally is National Decision Day is May 1st. Typically it's on a national scale, everybody has to commit or decide by May 1st through that deposit. However, many schools are, because of COVID-19, they are extending that. I have not received any information for UNC system schools. They haven't officially publicized that they're extending that May 1st deadline. So they still expect you to let them know that you're committing and paying that seat deposit by May 1st. However, if you are unable to pay that right now due to financial stress or parents losing a job, etc., reach out to the financial aid office of the school and talk to them and see if they can arrange that. So let them know, and I'm sure they would be more than willing to work with you. However, they are still expecting to know a notice before May 1st. So right now would be a great time, like this week, to be reaching out to them because May 1st is coming in 2 weeks. And lastly, you might have several acceptances from several colleges, and when you decide on one, it would be, if you want to be kind, and this is just good practice, let other schools know of your decision to attend elsewhere. So some schools, every school has a limit of how many students they can accept based on capacity within, seats and space available. And some schools use like a wait list or are at capacity and then could admit more, but they can't because they're at capacity. So when you let the school know, and you don't have to reveal everything, you just send a quick email to admissions, be like, greetings, ex-college admissions. Thank you so much for accepting me into your school. I just want to let you know I have decided on another institution. Thank you so much. Regards, whatever, your name. That's it. So something as quick as simple as that, or sometimes schools have it on a portal or something where you let them know and where you commit. And when you can let them know you're going elsewhere. So let them know so they can open up that space to other students. And that's how you make a decision. I know that was pretty quick. At this time, I will leave you with our information and we can take questions because I know we went through that pretty quick and there should be some questions. And so I'm looking at one. are you sure NCSU meets full need? What are the 5 schools again? So yes, NC State, they say on their website they meet full need, but remember, that might include loans. So they meet full need through, like, it'll include loans for NC State. It's not full need of free money. And the 5 schools are NC State, UNC Chapel Hill, Duke, Davidson, and Elon. Let's see. Oh, common data set for 20 NCSU meeting 24% need. We'll have to look. Well, I'm pretty sure they say they meet full need, but maybe that 74% is not the free money. It's because it'll include loans on your package. I don't know if you have anything different, Rachel. Do they have any wording?
I think that probably when we talk a lot about full need, we're often talking about special programs like the Promise, institutional aid for qualifying students, so they have to be within, a certain margin of the poverty line. So it really depends on the student, but generally, the state is pretty good about funding their students.
The schools, or well, someone responded actually. Okay, what can you say about negotiating financial aid packages before making decisions? That's a great question. So not all schools you can negotiate with, but it depends on school, but you definitely should try. But if you are getting, like, let's just say my example of UNCG and Fayetteville State. However, I'm not sure that they would be able to do much more because there's several factors, but those seem like pretty good, like accurate, maxed out packages. But so say, like, I could, for Fayetteville State, I'm getting more free money than from UNC Greensboro. So then I could go email UNC Greensboro and say, greetings, UNC Greensboro. Thank you so much for admitting me, or to the financial aid office, by the way. Thank you so much for providing me with financial aid. Maybe explain the situation. And I just wanted to know if I could, maybe my parent lost her job last year. So, or not even that. You don't even have to explain the situation. I really want to attend, your school. However, I am not able to pay for the gap. Is there any additional funding or additional, grants that could be included in my package? Or is there any additional institutional financial aid for me? Can it be revisited? And so you can send that via email. You'll get a response. Different colleges have different protocols. You may or may not be able to. They may or may not be able to add more, but you can always ask for more, and you could get a little bit of more money from that. I would say the negotiation really comes to these like prestigious, like schools that may have offered very close or very big packages. Then you could say, like, I really, really want to attend your school. However, I just cannot afford this $3,000 gap. So let me, however, you don't even have to name a school. Like, I do have other offers that meet full need, and based on my financial fit, those are a better fit just financially. However, I think I would excel at the school or would do overall at the school, and I want to be my first choice. Like, I don't want that gap to be the reason I don't enroll. And so then that school may be able to give you more money as well. So always stay in communication with financial aid offices, whether you're negotiating good packages, or even if like a parent lost a job, or last year in 2019, because you used FAFSA from 2018 and they lost their job in 19, then you can amend financial aid and go that route. But just communicate with your financial aid office.
I'll also say that it's going to be easier to negotiate a private because their funds are a little bit more liquid, meaning that they're not often tied up in state matters. So if you're deciding between two private schools, that's really where you can negotiate.
Good point. Are there any other questions?
Okay, well, I think if that's it, just a reminder, if you will go to bit.ly/GPC workshop and fill out our survey, you'll be in the running to win a $20 gift certificate. So the more sessions you attend and the more times you fill this out, the higher chance you have of winning. Just a reminder, our full schedule for workshops is at bit.ly/GPC virtual. You can attend our other sessions like this one about, the college going process, and also our sessions on with folks from admissions offices. And if you want, you can follow us on Instagram and our YouTube channel where these will be posted.
And I would like to add, we have some awesome colleges from nationwide joining us for those info sessions. Maybe it may be a college you have never heard of, maybe a small college in like several states away, but you just never know. Hear from them and get to see what kind of services or what kind of financial aid they can provide or what kind of majors, etc. So while you're shopping, don't limit yourself to just what you know. Make sure you expand and listen to everything. If I were a student and I could do it again, I would attend every session, and see if that college could, be potentially a good fit. Because we were strategic with these colleges. We emailed all colleges and invited them that were on the coalition application. Those that are in the coalition application have great support systems and meet almost 90 to 100% of students' financial aid. So, we have a lot of really great colleges here that could do really great stuff for students and provide great opportunities. Yeah.
All right. So I think that's it. So thank you all for coming, and we will see you at another session.